How can animal communication help with your pet's health issues? And the first thing is that you should always consult a veterinarian. Most animal communicators are not health experts, but we can help by asking your pet how they feel or where it hurts. Declan is good at this. He's had a lot of health issues, and so he has taught me a lot and helps me to deal with clients with their same issues. One way that I can help is by checking in with an animal about how their body is feeling. I often feel things in my own body. So if an animal has a stomach ache, I might start to feel nauseous. And it's crazy. It blows my mind every time this happens. And I don't know how it works, but that's how they can communicate. I had one example where someone asked me to check in with their dog and just his overall health. And I felt a pain on my left side that felt like a sore muscle. It felt like I had pulled a muscle actually. And so I mentioned this. I said, it's the left side. And they said the dog had just had a tumor removed from the left side of its mouth. So this told me that I was correct, that I was getting this feeling from the animal and that it was sore, that it wasn't really painful because it was feeling like that soreness where you just worked out or something. And they confirmed that the animal was eating fine and they were just worried that it was in a lot of pain. So that gives some comfort, and together we can figure out what message they're sending and also be very sensitive to what they might need. Another recent example is that I was talking to a dog who was having issues with his eyes. And he was saying that they felt very dry. It made me feel like I just wanted to squeeze them. And so that told me how his eyes were feeling, but he was also feeling really depressed. He told me that he was depressed because he had to wear a cone. And he actually said, "Don't look at me. I don't want anybody to see me." And so he was feeling very isolated. And that allowed me to give him some information, to let him know it was only a couple more weeks, to explain that all the things they were doing to mess with his eyes were going to help, and then that would make the cone go away. So there are ways that we can work around to make both of you feel better, to figure out the level of discomfort that an animal is having, and also to help them get through it, whether it be a physical issue or the way emotionally that they're dealing with it. I also want to point out that animal communication is not an exact science. There is room for error. We can be wrong about things. And so I try not to give any kind of specific diagnosis. An animal may be saying, "I have pain in my abdomen." I would never say, "Oh, well, it's a urinary tract infection." I would not be that specific because I'm really just being drawn to a certain spot. And most of the time, animals don't know exactly what's wrong. It's kind of like a person. If we were not feeling good, we would go to the doctor and ask them to do tests to figure out what the issue is. It's the same thing with an animal. They probably don't know what a urinary tract infection is, so they can't tell me that. So I like to use this as a tool to find out what the feelings are in an animal's body and how severe they are, so that you as a pet parent can take that information to a vet and ask them to look at something in particular. It gives a little more direction than just going into a vet and saying, my pet's not acting right. I don't really know what's going on." So this just helps narrow it down a little bit. This is another example where animal communication can be great in conjunction with any kind of veterinarians or a support that your animals already get. I can ask them about medications if they want to take them, if they're willing to take them. I can explain to them what it's for. Often animals don't equate that they take this pill and then 3 hours later they feel better. Sometimes they do, but sometimes they're kind of just like, I don't know why they're making me, you know, take this thing that tastes awful and gets stuck in my throat. So there are lots of ways that this can be helpful, and I would love to support you and find out how your animal is feeling. If you have any questions or want more information, I'm at intuitivedenise.com, and I'm sending you love and light.